What's going on, everybody? I'm the Entertainist and welcome back. Halloween is right around the corner, and this year or last year I haven't done any reviews for any horror movies or Halloween type movies. The closest thing I gave you guys last year was my top 10 Halloween movies of all time. But I haven't talked about any of those individually, and since there's really no movies coming out right now, and Halloween's right around the corner, I want to talk about some of my favorites. And I think a good one to start off with is Rob Zombie's Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween came out in 2007. I was about 10 years old, and my parents forbid me to see this movie around that time. They wouldn't let me watch rated R movies, really. The only time they really let me watch rated R movies was when the Halloween movies would play on AMC, because they cut out the graphic violence and the nudity, and I was allowed to watch shit like that. I found my way around to seeing Rob Zombie's Halloween around that time, and I remember being pretty disturbed as a kid, but looking back on it, honestly, this is one of my favorite horror movies, and one of my favorite Michael Myers movies, and definitely my favorite remake of all time. What I love about this movie is that Rob Zombie gives us a different take on the Michael Myers story. He definitely makes this a lot more gruesome and bloody and very unsettling, and I like that he goes that route. Whereas John Carpenter's version is more creepy, and it's unsettling. It's still unsettling, but in a different tone. Rob Zombie's goes a darker route with it, and I really appreciate that. And also, it's not just a copy and paste of the original. It gives us a backstory. And I love that. I love that we get to see why Michael Myers is the way he is. And I understand the people who don't like this movie don't like that they humanize Michael Myers. I get that. It's the same reason why some people aren't a fan of the Joker movie, because he has no origin story. So I understand those reasons, but I'm curious when they do stuff like this, because it's like, we don't really know about this character. Let's get to know this character a little bit. Let's give it a shot. In my opinion, Rob Zombie made it work with this one. I loved Michael Myers' backstory. I think it truly made us understand why he became the psychotic killer he became. For those of you who haven't seen this, there are going to be spoilers in it because this movie is over 10 years old. So, with Michael Myers' backstory, he has a mother who's a stripper, and he gets bullied at school because of that. They all make fun of him because his mom's a stripper. His sister basically hates him and mentally abuses him and just picks on him and calls him names. And his stepfather, they don't show it, but I'm sure he's very physically abusive towards him and hates Michael. So Michael doesn't have a great life at all. The only one that loves him is his mother. But like I said, there's still a negative trait with that route. And I love how gruesome this movie is. When he follows that bully into the woods outside of school and beats him with a log, I think it's very unsettling and is a great introduction into how Michael Myers is going to become. And another thing I love, and I love when a Michael Myers movie does this, because it's the title of the movie, it sets up a great feel for Halloween. I think it's a great horror movie to watch around that time, and it's just a great movie to pump you up for that season if you're a fan of Halloween the holiday. And Michael Myers is my favorite slasher of all time, and they did not only a great character study with it, but the guy who portrays him does a great job, and I mean... can't be that hard, but he does a great job. I mean, he pulled it off, how he'll just stand in the back of a corner, creep up, and some shit's gonna happen, and the dude's really tall in it. I mean, they picked a great Michael Myers, I think, and I think the mask looks really good too. I think that could be the biggest flop for a Halloween movie, is when the Michael Myers mask looks like shit. For example, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, the mask looks terrible on that. Resurrection, H2O. I mean, honestly, the only good Halloween movies where his mask looks decent is the first one, this one, and I'd say the 2018 one. Another thing I have positive to say about this movie is the portrayal of Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Malcolm McDowell, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. There isn't going to be someone to replace Donald Pleasence and how he brought that character to the big screen. He is the Dr. Samuel Loomis I'll always picture when I think of that character. But Malcolm McDowell did a good one for the universe that Rob Zombie set up for us. Now, with talking about my positive things with this movie, with the acting portrayal and how gruesome it is, those both lead into my flaws in this movie. So one negative thing I have with this movie that I don't like when any movie does this really, unless it plays a very important part to the story. I guess in a way, it's more of a plot device, but there is a very graphic rape scene in this movie. It doesn't last super long, but I just hate when movies have that. And I mean, part of me is like, it's really unnecessary to throw this in here. And another part of me is like, well, the reason they did it. So the whole thing with the rape scene is that it's after, Michael Myers is still locked up in the asylum. It's before he breaks out. And these two guys working there go into his room with a girl, like a new patient there. And they rape her in front of him. And basically, Michael Myers becomes a hero and kills the guys that do it. So it makes you root for Michael, and I kind of like that. But and then basically, since he killed the guys, he was able to take their keys and kill everyone else working in the asylum and escape and go back to Haddonfield. So it's a plot device for sure. I don't know. I don't like rape scenes. I think unless it plays a very important part to the story, not a fan of them. And as for the acting, how I said that leads into my flaws as well. I'm not huge at all on the portrayal of Laurie Strode. I think her character is very annoying in this, and the actress playing her is just very whiny and kind of bratty with her parents. And I don't know, I like that she's not trying to be like Jamie Lee Curtis, but Jamie Lee Curtis's character, her portrayal, we really feel for Laurie Strode. And we really root for her because she is a very nice, innocent girl, and you really feel bad for her when you're watching her friends being killed left and right on this night. But I just wasn't a fan of Laurie Strode in this movie, nor in the sequel to this too, but I'll get to that in a different review. It just didn't work for me. I didn't really care for her at all. Another problem I have with this movie is the camera work. When there's just a conversation going on between two characters, it'll just keep a steady zoom in on their face, and it just kind of cuts off right here. I thought that was a little off-putting. And also there's a lot of shakiness going on. Sometimes it works. When Michael Myers is running around in a house, not running because he doesn't do that, but when Michael Myers is in a house killing people, the shakiness kind of works. Sometimes it doesn't, but when it was Dr. Samuel Loomis and this cop going ahead and feel Michael Myers is in this town, and it's just shaking with it, I don't know, it wasn't working for me. It's very, very distracting. Other than those nitpicks, I love this movie. I think it is one of the greatest remakes. I love that it's not a complete ripoff. Rob Zombie did something new with this, and I really appreciate it, and I watch this every Halloween. I'm going to give Rob Zombie's Halloween a 4 out of 5 stars. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please comment below on your thoughts of Rob Zombie's Halloween. If you've seen it before, what your favorite Michael Myers movie is, what your favorite movie to watch during October is for Halloween. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.